of guidance, that in our lives we may come across as a seeker many people whom play a role in which to build us and begin to develop us, and not necessarily even they know that that's the role they play. Somebody taught them a little bit of Qur'an, somebody taught them some spirituality. So many people in our lives like actors in a play that Allah introduces to us, and these become characters within our existence and our life. We may deem them to be our shaykh and our guide because this is the word that we…
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh John. Thank you for what times that we have for our audience. Your support is greatly… As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We know, but the true one out of all the many we come across is the one that holds a secret to your reality, and if not through them the key, the opening doesn't occur. So one may call themselves a shaykh and, oh I'm shaykh, I'm teaching, then they come across that teaching or sometimes even no teaching, and they say, I follow this shaykh, I was with this shaykh, I'm with this shaykh. Not all shaykhs are created the same. So this is not a homogenized milk, everyone is the same. These are just titles that people put upon themselves, but not necessarily the title that Allah put upon insan and people. The one whom Allah has endowed with these guidance and these realities, and they are the key holders. They hold the key of reality to the reality of the soul of the individual, and the knowledges they teach are for that specific reason, not for entertainment. Because of the level of their training and what Allah has destined and opened for them, then this is a resource and ni'mat from Allah. Many may come across and their teacher, shaykh, whatever they want to call them, said they didn't teach these things because they didn't know these things. This is not what they were trained for, and this was not the purpose that they served. The reality of the one whom holds these keys is the one whom we ultimately fall into their hands, and for every region, for whatever purpose and for whatever reality, if it makes sense. If you're to reach a certain station, somebody can't hold you back from that station because they tried to take you, you tried to take their hand. Your reality lies with someone else. So many people, they become spiritual, they become interested, somehow they end up somewhere and say, I have to buy it. And that necessarily wasn't their final destination, that was just one stop on their journey towards the Divine. Until you reach the one whom holds a key into the depth of your soul, into your reality. And the sign of that key are the knowledges and what's being taught. If you're destined to go deep within yourself, you're destined to eat from these spiritual realities because this is a ni'mat, this is the ta'am, this is the food of the soul, then you're destined to be at this table with this guide. If it doesn't make sense to you and it's a food that's of no interest to you, you're not destined for this guide. We don't have to sit to convince people, no stay, it's not meant for you. Everyone's heart will move where Allah wants it, not where you wanted it, because in life you choose many relationships. As we draw near to the end, they say in the time of Sayyidina Mahdi people will be with whom Allah wrote them to be in every aspect of their life. Whether it's their companionship, whether it's the spouse, whether it's their anything around them, the relationships, spiritual, physical, that we chose through our nafs, through our desires. Hopefully sometimes they were pure, most likely people's impure desires got them into relationships. But as we draw near to the heavenly kingdom opening upon this earth, in the presence of Sayyidina Mahdi everything will be governed by Lahul Mahfuz, what's written. Not what we chose but what was written. No difference in guidance. Some people came across many people thinking they're the teacher, they took something from them, understood something, but yet there was a deeper yearning. The deeper yearning in which they begin to be fed from these realities, and it's a reality in which is quenching their thirst and hunger, because Allah created them to achieve that. You can't achieve what Allah hasn't written. We've had in 35, 40 years of doing this, people said, I don't even know what you're talking about, Shaykh, most of the time. And they said, it's not written for you, find something else that is more to your liking. Because you can't make somebody eat what Allah hasn't put into their hunger. If you don't have the hunger from the way that we're teaching and the system that we put together and these realities, it's not something that you can force feed. And at the same time someone may be in conflict thinking, I'm sitting with a person I thought I'm supposed to be with, but it does nothing for me. I don't understand, they don't teach anything, I don't even know what I'm doing. Am I bound to that? And in reality, no. You're bound to follow the heart, and what your heart is demanding from you on what it is required to quench its reality. Means I need to achieve these realities, I need to be fed constantly from these haqqaiqs, and this insatiable appetite has to be met. And if I sit with someone else I feel as if I'm dying and it's not happening, I'm not getting what I'm needing and my time is running out, this earth is finishing. Because there's many emails coming in, are we like locked into this thing because you're talking about the bayat. The bayat that we're talking about is the one that is the true bayat. You may give many bayat in your life but you're assuming that you were on truth and you did it as what Allah had willed. But you could have been artificially grabbed by somebody that had no right to try to give you bayat. Many happen, and again 35 years that we've seen people who roam into town trying to grab everybody's hand hoping they can pick up all the fruits from the trees of a shaykh, and the person doesn't even know that they're part of that shaykh, but these are the fruits of that shaykh. The shaykh they had even been studying by that shaykh for years. Somebody else came into town and tried to put a hand. So there are many like that you think you got into a contract, now you don't even know was that a valid contract, but you consider that in this way of haqqaiq that it was a step. I was to learn something but that was not my ultimate guide, and that guide didn't hold the keys. And as a result the bayat that counts is the one that looks into the heart of Prophet and that is the key towards that individual's reality. And that becomes important in the last days, that people who are not interested in this, not interested, don't push yourself, move on. Those whom are deeply interested in it means Allah put the hunger in you, we didn't. We mainly feed you, and Allah describes these people, they feed you for the sake of Allah's Divinely face. So you can't force people to feed, we don't put out the appetite to people, you have to, you have to do this, you have to do this. But we teach a certain system, and each shaykh may teach a different system, we can speak only to ourselves. When the person is coming and has, oh I'm actually hungry for this reality, Allah put that hunger in you, that's your shaykh. And if he's feeding you to the depth of your soul and to the door of Sayyidina Muhammad, because many are astonished they don't really talk about that door. They have love for Prophet but they talk more about Allah. But that's a big danger, because the door for the believer is Muhammadun Rasulullah. It's not a second and a third door, it's not a fourth door in which you're all equal and in a line, it's the only door. And the only way to that door is to be taught that you're nothing. Negate yourself in your binary code. So then that system of teaching has to occur, and as a result means you're at the threshold of Muhammadun Rasulullah, and those that teach that system they have a key for you. Follow their way, write the knowledges so that you're documenting haqqaiqs. Later you can go back to validate also what you wrote so that you can say, oh did I understand that correctly? And it becomes burned upon your personality and your reality. So this is for people to contemplate the many people we will come across in our lives, but the true bayat is not the one that we only wanted to do, because we wanted many things in life, and look back at all the choices people have made and probably not so many of them you're proud of. But the choice that you made and finally reached to where the insatiable appetite within the soul is being quenched. Why? Because the one whom gives you, the one who controls your heart and gives you the hunger sits you at the table you're supposed to be at. So when they have a hunger and they're not being fed, means keep as a salik searching. But when they arrive at that table and they feel that their soul is fed, which are knowledges, because the bounty of the shaykh is knowledges. We said we would go to events and symbolic, there was no food. Remember there was crackers, cheese and grapes. For us means their provision is poor, there's no provision here. Not that they're poor, because these are all people in Western world with lots of money, but symbolically for us to understand there's no sustenance here. Because when guests come, they're the guests of Allah. And as you put out from your bounty for the sake of your faith, it's also symbolic that the shaykhs have a lot of ulum. If they're going to feed your belly, imagine what they fed your heart. So means these were symbolic of being fed. So when we go somewhere where there's constantly nothing to eat, then imagine spiritual association, when shaykh says nothing. Then all of a sudden you see all those students are in Alawi classes and other turuqs just sitting, you see all the turbans in their audience. Why? Because Allah's just, they need food. They need something that Allah put a hunger in their soul, they need to seek it out. If you're not satisfying the hunger of people, it's a spiritual oppression upon them. It's like eating in your home and all your students outside in your backyard are starving. So no, the knowledge I have is for me, but they're hungry, I never feed them, I don't care. That's oppression and zulumat. So imagine spiritually. So the purpose of the shaykh was Allah gave that, why I'm giving you these knowledges? To go back and feed my creation.